Okay. Couple of words about us. We are Wayfair. We're located in Cluj-Napoca, Romania, and we have some interesting numbers about the city. Cluj-Napoca ranked number 4 on the small European cities of the future, 2022-2023, for business friendliness. We have the second largest university in Romania and two of the best in IT field. It's also called the Silicon Valley of Eastern Europe, and there are more than 1,800 IT companies. It is a growing city and has a lot of steam to continue. For the audience who don't know where Cluj-Napoca is, here is a map of Europe, and the marked land between the mountains is Transylvania, the name of the region in northwest Romania. Cluj-Napoca is in the heart of Transylvania. Fun fact about Transylvania, Prince Charles, now King Charles III, calls a small village in Transylvania his second home. I would say it's worth a visit. Back to our subject. Here are some numbers about Wayfair. We're close to 100 professionals, 50 partners, and 19 current customers. We recently celebrated our 10-year of activity, and we have a strong training program. Most of our colleagues have started in one of our internships. We collaborate on projects with a wide range of industries, supporting our customers in their growth, from banking and insurance to retail and healthcare, just to name a few. We have a high seniority percentage, and this is due to our continuous investment in people. Some of our senior developers and even tech leads have started with one of our trainings, which we successfully made. These are our values: innovation, commitment, teamwork, and integrity. We believe that following our values, we can provide the best collaboration approach. Trust is something that is built over time, and having long-term customers proves we're on the right track. This is how we support our customers, from consultancy to application development, testing, project delivery, design, maintenance, and support. Wayfair provides a fully dedicated software development team with all the profiles needed to manage and run a project. We have experience in the full project lifecycle, from concept and design to deliverables for end users. What we usually recommend in our projects is a Scrum Agile work methodology, and we have colleagues which have a strong experience with the process in all the key roles. These are the technologies we're focusing on. Our main center of attention is on progress technologies such as OpenEdge, Corticon, Sitefinity, and Telerik. But we have a strong and growing department of web technologies such as Angular and React. Our projects are progress-based or progress backend with a web or mobile technology for front-end, or web-only projects. We have experience also with the low-code, no-code frameworks, and based on the challenges, we can propose different approaches of starting new projects. We're also proud to be a Progress Titanium partner, and we aim to grow for the next period on both Progress and other technologies. This is our short introduction for Wayfair. Going forward for the agenda, today we're going to discuss about modernization strategies, and we will start with the first steps. Bear with me on the theory and how we approach these challenges. And at the end, we're going to follow 2 business cases. And because we received a good feedback from our last webinar, we'll try to dive a bit deeper in the architecture decisions made on each of these projects. Okay, how to choose the application to modernize. a good framework to start with. It's a Gartner Time model, which offers a nice framework to group the applications into an easy to read chart. Time stands for tolerate, innovate, migrate, or eliminate, and the chart should look something like this. Applications that fall under the tolerate quadrant are those that offer some value to the business and are suitable fit for the organization from a technological standpoint. They have a low level of risk, but a good service level. While not crucial to the operations of the business, they can be tolerated due to their compatibility with other critical applications, despite being legacy applications with outdated architecture. Although these applications should ideally be eliminated, their temporary toleration can be attributed to their integration with other critical systems. On the other hand, applications classified under the invest quadrant offer significant business value and are good technical fit for the organization. They are considered to be the best of their kind and require further investment to extract maximum benefit from them. Applications that fall under the migrate quadrant, which we're going to focus on, provide considerable business value, but are not a good technological fit for the organization. These applications may be critical to business operations, but run on outdated hardware or software platform. Additionally, there may be a shortage of skilled personnel to maintain and develop these applications. These are some of the subjects we discussed on our last webinar. When it's going to be publicly available, I invite you to watch this as well. Finally, the eliminate quadrant contains applications that offer some business value, but are not a good technological fit for the organization. Since these applications are not critical to the business operations, it is best to eliminate them. To create this type of chart, we have a nice Excel file. You can grade your application for business value and IT quality, and you can get a chart that looks like this. Yeah, there is an old joke about legacy technology. Legacy technology is anything that works. Modernization. Bit of recap about modernization of legacy application from Gartner. I will remind you what legacy code is. Legacy code is code older than 24 hours. We analyzed the cost-benefit ratio in our previous webinar. Of course, you can check that out as well. Now, a couple of words about the routes we considered: rewrite, replace, and reuse. While the first two methods imply a complete software modernization, the third one means a partial software modernization, and most of the times is the backend part of the application, which is refactored and reused, while the front end is redesigned and updated. Rewrite. Well, for rewrite, the team will rewrite the code, of course, modify functionality and interface design, and update outdated technologies. In essence, this results in a completely new application developed from scratch. This approach is ideal for businesses looking to move to a more modern environment while retaining the business logic of the previous system, making it easy for employees to adapt to the new software. And because it's easier to remember a concept using a picture, I will try to provide some insights for each route. This is for rewrite. Go for the next one. Replace. Unlike the rewrite approach, replacing assume a complete upgrade of all software aspects, including the structure and business logic, resulting in a completely different solution with a different scope, structure, and system components. Replacing is ideal for those with a legacy system that no longer performs its tasks, and requires a new environment that meets the change requirements. Master Yoda, words, truth may hold, but as with every case, the devil is in the details. Reuse. Um, it's a partial legacy modernization, and there are more flavors to it. Um, Encapsulation, encapsulating the application, can be considered as an efficient modernization approach for legacy systems that saves both time and money. It involves making changes that apply only to the interface that connects to the existing legacy system via API, without altering the code, architecture, or other critical system components. This approach is suitable for those seeking design and functionality enhancements while minimizing development costs and time. But the existing solution still requires maintenance. And if the legacy code is outdated or the software is unreliable, alternative modernization strategies may need to be considered, such as rehosting. Rehosting of legacy system involves transferring them to a new environment without altering the application's critical components. It is similar to moving to a new secure house while retaining all of your possessions. This approach usually is straightforward and effortless, requiring minimal time and effort as the migration process should be straightforward and smooth. Replatforming is a legacy modernization approach that involves migrating software components to a new platform with minimal code changes. This technique is ideal for businesses seeking to avoid typical modernization difficulties, allowing employees to avoid the steep learning curve of a new system. While most of the original components remain unchanged, replatforming can make use of certain cloud infrastructure benefits, such as reduced maintenance costs. However, some native cloud capabilities may not be accessible due to partial migration. Re-architecting. Legacy applications often have a monolithic architecture that limits scalability and software performance. Thus, re-architecting to microservices architecture can provide a more adaptable solution for growth. By rebuilding the system based on a more scalable architecture, businesses can enhance functionality, improve security, and integrate modern technologies. Re-architecting is perhaps the most complex and challenging approach to a partial system update, requiring significant effort from the development team. Changes in business logic are also inevitable. Refactoring. Another modernization approach, refactoring or recoding, involves modifying legacy code without altering the overall system environment. This technique is comparable to repairing a house instead of moving to a new one. Refactoring entails making changes to the system's functionality and configuration to improve maintenance efficiency without making significant modifications. It is suitable for businesses that are generally content with their legacy software but encounter technical issues occasionally. And this is how modern architecture is made from scratch. Well, not from scratch, if all code still works. Uh, we're done with the theory for today, so we can move to our approach on modernization. This is what we define as our four-step approach in starting new modernization process. We try to identify the challenges as soon as possible with the discovery session. Then we go through an assessment, both on technical and functional. And once we identify, together with our customer, the major topics, prioritize them, we can proceed with the pilot or proof of concept. The evaluation phase consists of checking the output of the pilot together with the next steps. This evaluation is not only technical, but also from a collaboration perspective. First step, approach, discovery. Here, we identify the business challenge and the needs of the customer. This takes an initial session of roughly 2 hours, and our team defines any need of assessment and the skills needed to perform the assessment. Assessment analysis. We identify together with our customer the business challenges and needs, define the technology stack, and the team able to perform the right level of performance and cost. We have also a third-party tool analysis. We go through the tools that are dependent to the project or the tools that the project is dependent on. We start with 2 to 3 hour sessions, 1 to sessions for business assessment and also for technical assessment. The output of each session would be a document, either technical or functional. Before jumping into the code, we define the major components of the project and identify the list of requirements and the priority. This helps create a board that can be used for the pilot or the POC as a start for the product backlog. Our experience shows that the POC can solve a direct technical challenge or can be used as a first step in the project startup, and during the pilot, a shippable part of the product can be built. Okay. Assessment evaluation phase. We evaluate the development output, the deliveries in terms of product, but we also evaluate the collaboration, team interaction, the process used. Here we propose a 2 to 4 hour session, and at the end of this session, we should be able to define the next steps, replan, reprioritize if needed. Project kickoff. After our 4-step approach, we can start the actual build of the product using a defined process. We recommend, as I mentioned, Scrum Agile. Most of our projects run on 2 to 4 weeks sprint. And we do all the Scrum ceremonies from planning to daily Scrum, sprint backlog, sprint retrospective, sprint review, refinement, and so on. Okay, during the project, we constantly monitor the development and collaboration. We do this with regular meetings, can be 1 per week session to 1 per month session, and we take the necessary correction measures if needed. Because the aim of our approach is to build long-term collaborations, we have customers which are working with us for several years already, and we are their development go-to company. Business case. Let's jump to a couple of examples from our modernization projects. The first one is a project in the healthcare and the pension fund insurance domain. It is a rewrite type of modernization. Here, our customer decided to keep the functionality of the old application, but use a new framework, both for the backend and for the front end. The legacy application was built using Progress 4GL. It is a desktop application, and the modernization target is a web-based application. The decision made was to use Build One framework, formerly known as SWAT, which provides both backend and front-end development capabilities. Here are some screenshots from the legacy application. Yeah, we have the login screen. This is quite standard progress screens. An edit screen. We have a list screen. This is pretty standard. Also, the dashboard with some customizations, but this is based on standard Progress 4GL tools. Existing architecture. This is the setup of the legacy application. We can see here a straightforward setup. We have the clients connecting directly to the database. It's of course a desktop application, some peripherals down here. Next, we have the architecture used for the modernization. We can see here a clear separation between the layers of the application. We have the client part, it's SWAT, or the JavaScript client, which connects to an Apache web server in this case. We have a controller and the backend. The backend connects to the databases. We have multiple databases in this example, and to third-party tools such as Corticon, if you're familiar with Progress tools. We have a Sonic, this is a bus, and an Exchange adapter in this part. The structure of this application is based on open-edge application architecture. This consists of distinct components that have specific characteristics, roles, and responsibilities. Of course, it's a good idea to break the application into different functional layers because it's easier to maintain as business requirements change. This is what Build One and Smart Component Library are offering. But this may be a subject for one of our next webinars. Open-edge application architecture is based on two key principles of application design. This is the layered application design, and we have a service-oriented design. Here, each client request for a service is a separate call. By backing business logic as service, each service can be exposed and made available to a variety of clients, which are ABL or non-ABL. This allows you to make changes to the server-side business logic without affecting the clients. Okay, we have the communication diagram. Here we see a front to backend call. We use a broad data set that the client can map to a JSON or an XML file. And on the back end, we use the business entity and data access provided by Smart Component Library framework. And we have the databases on the right side. Some screens from the new application. Yeah, of course, these are JavaScript based. It's a web application. Keeping the same functionality. We have the same screens here as in the old application, or the same functionality. We have the dashboard, which is the new modernized screen. Work process. As I mentioned, we recommend Scrum Agile as a work process. Here we have a 2-week sprint cycle. We have Scrum ceremonies, daily refinement planning, retrospective and review, technical retrospectives after each sprint, lead cafe when needed, of course, on dedicated topics. We use Bitbucket with Git flow, and we have guidelines and naming conventions decided on project level. Because it's a migration modernization project, the old application is analyzed, so each new user story is defined using a code analysis of the old code. Then user story is written, followed by a technical design, and only after the actual implementation is started. As a project team structure, we have multiple Scrum teams assigned this project with different responsibilities. Each Agile team has a similar distribution in terms of roles. In the upper part, we have client role, of course, the steering committee, project management and product management. And we're involved in 2 of the Agile teams in most of the roles, Scrum Master, developer, principal developer. One key aspect of this is the communication part. We're using Skype and Microsoft Teams for the communication. We have Jira, Confluence, and Miro for tasks. We have regular dailies, of course, ad hoc meetings, and dedicated regular meetings on different topics. Scrum Masters meeting, product owner, product and project management weekly meeting, principal developers weekly meetings, product increment, health checks, and monthly project review meeting with all the project members. We have events twice per year. Um, we have a visit on site in Cluj-Napoca, a visit on client side, and every project kickoff has its own event at the beginning of each release. Monitoring, we can see here the progress of the migration and the status per module. This diagram helps having an overview of the current progress and can make projections on the next steps. Escalation paths, risk mitigation. If we have a technical issue, then the escalation path is developer, principal developer, system architect, architecture team. If we have a communication or team issue, the escalation path is from the team, Scrum Master, project management team. Lesson learned from this project. Good preparation, a good business preparation is always needed for this rewrite. We have an aligned team on the purpose of the project and the way to execute it. Planning at the beginning of each sprint, constant monitoring as you've seen, and yeah, regular feedback. Next, we have our second project business case. It's a reuse type. Some details about the customer. This is a Belgium chain of retail stores founded in 1962. A wide assortment of shoes. In this case, 3D food scanning and some other facilities. Business challenge. They wanted to go from offline to online, rewrite their VB6 Visual Basic application, which was used in stores, move from file share to REST web services. This is where our refactor went into play. Have a unified and real-time web application in stores, customer management system addition, real-time information on stock and article scan. And this was a progress open edge project. We wanted to migrate from classical app server to PASOE. This is their challenge because as a retail company, it is very important to provide the same experience regardless of the interaction channel. There is also a shift in customer experience. Yeah, 30 years ago, people would go and buy clothes and shoes from the local shop. Now, shopping online is the main go-to direction, and as a retailer, you need to provide both a good shopping experience, but also a competitive price, as a potential client can just switch between different websites. Technologies used, use the Progress Pacific suite, OpenEdge 11.3 migrated to 11.7, Progress Role-Based, BPM Corticon, and the final part of migration was from classic app server to PASOE. Some screens, that was the previous application and the modernized one. Yeah, some screenshots from the old application. Yeah, we have a tree view here, a list, some grids, menu, some standard type of application. We used OpenEdge reference architecture. This is a precursor of OpenEdge application architecture. We try to use the latest the latest architectures defined by the provider, which is Progress in this case. This is how refactoring of old code looks like. Moving the fat client. As you can see here, we have the business entity as part of the client. This is the small visual adaptation of the refactor. Basically, is moving the business part from the client, from the fat client, to the server, and make a skinny client. This is the old system architecture. As we all know, all submarines work on Linux, as you cannot open Windows underwater. We have Linux-based backend here with the database residing in here, the app server, and the 4GL code. We made the summary float. We refactored the code, replatform and re-architect the solution to name some of the techniques used here. The UI was rebuilt, and the server side was able to reuse most of its functionality, but in a reshaped form. We used here a Quarix database and framework, and for the backend, we had the web server, an Apache Tomcat web server, which connected to a Progress app server. On the left side, we have the client from the web browser, because we built in role-based web application connecting to also an Apache Tomcat web server of role-based. In the middle, we had the load balancer for a failover scenario. Some screens from the new application. Of course, we had some limitations in terms of menu and how the screens look like in role-based. This is an enter screen for customer information. Being a Belgium customer, we had to build a multi-language support, in this case, Dutch and French. If you are familiar with Corticon, all the work codes from here were processed per user per role in Corticon. This is the screen from order management system. Customers, customer info. They printed the labels, stick them on shoeboxes. This is a standard retail activity. Couple of words about the project team. We had a mixed team formed of 6 developers, including Apoca, 4 developers at client side, 1 team lead, project manager from Wayfair, and the counterpart project manager from the client. We use Scrum methodology, 3-week sprint. We started with a 2-week sprint and then migrated to 3-week sprint, as this provided a better balance for the team in terms of meetings versus development time. Well, this is what Agile stands for. And as with the previous project, we have regular visits from both teams. Lesson learned, here it was really important to have a clear business vision, what the migration purpose was. A mixed skill team. It's important that we had a team from the client who knew the existing application really well and was able to collaborate with our team to reuse the code from that application. We can say that the unit tests do help. And of course, planning, constant monitoring, and regular feedback are a must. We build our unit tests with Jenkins, PCT, and Ant. Okay, we're closing to the end. I want to thank our partners for being with us and addressing the challenges together. If there are any questions. see one hand up. Juana? I think you're on mute. Do you use only Progress technologies on migrations? No. These are two examples that that we have from two Progress-based projects, but we also have um, migrations on from .NET technologies or from ASP.NET towards React applications. So we use Progress backend, but also other type of technologies. How long did the modernization projects last? Okay. Well, in the first project is an ongoing project. I think it started 4 years ago,
4 years
and
ago.
yeah, and we have oh, I think this year is the big release year.
Yeah.
But it's going to be the second project we started in 2013. And we had a really good experience. The project was delivered in stores used by the retail chain employees. In production, I think we went in 2017. But yeah, in 2020, due to pandemic, they were taken over by larger company. So we had to end the project at that moment. How do you manage the problem of being halfway through the project, integrating the legacy part and the modernization part? I think this is related to the strategy. Of course, it's really important to have a good preparation in terms of business and expectations. The if your question is related to the first project, then there we have a rewrite approach. The old code is just a reference on the functionality. The new application doesn't use any of the old code. It's built using build one framework, and the code is written from scratch.
Mia, I have a question.
Yep.
Can you hear me? Yeah? I'm Peter,
Yep.
by the way.
Hey, Peter.
Hey, let me give you also my picture. Just a question about the second project in retail. You mentioned it started in 2017. Eh? If you would do that again now.
We started in 2013. In 2017, we went on production.
Okay.
We rolled out the project into stores.
If you would do that one again now, should you then use the same architecture choices?
Well, when we started in 2013, we started using the OpenEdge reference architecture with the classic app server. Of course, if we should start using Progress technologies, in this case, we would definitely start with PASOE. So we would not use the classic app server. With Tomcat web server, we use the capabilities of PASOE, and probably we would go with a different front end than role-based. We would probably go with something like Angular or React.
No, okay. Thank you. See, there's another question.
Which service is more expensive to migrate between front end, back end, or database? That's a good question. Well, I think it depends. If you the type of modernization approach, if you're going to do a for the code, if you're going to do a full modernization or a partial modernization, of course that can increase or decrease the price. And also on the database, you can migrate the database uh, to let's say a new version using the same tools or a new architecture of the database, a new design. Or if you want to migrate, let's say to a different technology, say from Progress to a SQL database, then it depends on how large and how complex the database is. Um, yeah, I would say that from my experience, probably the code migration is going to be the most expensive part. But yeah, I think it depends on multiple factors. I hope the answer is covering your question, but if it's not, yeah, we can discuss further on details. Okay.
Okay.
Maybe other questions? Well,
I don't think so.
if there are no other questions, I'd like to thank you for participating in our webinar. I hope you find this information useful and applicable on your projects. If you want to contact us, we're available on LinkedIn, Facebook, via mail, or through our new website. You can check it out. Yeah, I'm looking forward to see you on our next webinar. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mia.
Bye.
Thank you. Great.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.